Good evening, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to Wind Down Friday. We'll give a sister a hug. I'm your girl, Author Erica. I have my favorite co-host on with me today, Author Kim, and we've been on this fabulous Friday. Today, as you all know, month of May is Mother's Day, and we wanted to showcase all our fabulous mothers that's out here killing the game. And I mean,
Yes.
killing the game, taking care of the kids. They have their own business. Some working 9 to 5 along with their own business. So I mean, they out here killing the game. And we wanted to
Yes.
give a sister hug because we have so many sisters out here. And we wanted to showcase our mothers out here. You know, whether you're a single mom, whether you married, what the situation is, you still a great mom at the end of the day. And that's what we want to portray, show our great moms out here. Like I said, killing the game out here because some mamas have some challenges and some mamas don't. And I know since this pandemic has hit, I know mama's been drinking up a stove with our little people. Because our little people could be a handful, but we gotta love our
Yes.
little people because they keep us on our toes. So today, on this Friday, we have our sister Nicole on here with us. She's a fabulous mom and she's out here killing the game, and she's gonna tell y'all how she working it out. So good evening, Nicole. Thanks for tuning in to Wind Down Fridays. Will give a sister a hug, and we so happy to showcase you as a mom taking care of your kids or your child, whatever. You're killing the game, and we just want to say thank you. So thanks for tuning in with us. Thanks for being on this live with us. We're a little,
Thank
we're a
you for
little
having
batshit
me.
crazy
I
sometimes.
appreciate it.
I didn't hear you.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
No
Hey,
problem.
no problem. No problem.
So we gonna get this party started. So Nicole, like, tell us about you. Give us a little background on what you have going on as far as your business and how many of our little people you have.
So I am the owner of Wonderwhipps. This is a business, skincare business that I started about 5 years ago, maybe even more, 6 years ago. Because I'm gonna add in the year where I was a thought.
Okay.
I'm gonna add in that year. And then, so I decided to create this natural skincare business just for the sake of my daughter's skin. And I have 4 children. I have one stepson. My daughter's the youngest. She is the only girl, and she is 14.
Wow.
So at the time, she suffers from eczema, and she also
Okay.
has asthma. You know how it kind of coincides with everything. So she would have these breakouts, and in the summertime, because she's so fair skinned, she gets these white blotches on her face. I'm not sure if you know what that means with the sun. She'll tan everywhere else except around those patchy eczema areas. So I pretty much started with just using shea butter and putting it on her face before she went to school. When she was little, you know how you put your lotion on your kids, your kids
Uh-huh.
like going crazy, things are like, "Ugh."
Yeah.
So she hated the smell of shea butter. She hated it. She hated it. She was like, no, like don't do this to me. Like, no, I don't like this. So I decided to come up with, a skincare line where she could actually enjoy the fragrance. The shea butter wasn't too overpowering because shea butter is very, very strong. It's very smoky. It's very nutty, and that's the part that she
Yeah.
didn't hate. So over the years, I just cultivated a really good recipe that worked with her skin. It worked with all of our skins, believe it or not. And it helped her with her eczema and her breakouts. And now that she's 14, and she's at that age of like skin changes and acne and things like that. She uses it. She uses the soaps that I make, and it works for her skin really, really well. She doesn't have as many breakouts as most kids, but she's still going through hormonal changes. So sometimes those acne still comes even with hormonal changes. So that's who I am and where I started with my business. I didn't think in a million years that I would be here where it is right now, but due to COVID, thank you, COVID, as crazy as it is,
Right.
have pushed me and gave so many women and mothers a sense of like survival mode.
Yes.
We went
Yes.
into like full survival mode. We're not finna
Yes.
sit around this house all day and do absolutely nothing. We're going to
Nothing.
think of
Right.
something. Our
Right.
creativity that was in the back came to the forefront, and we
Right.
started to do these creative ideas and put them forth. That was pretty much what I've seen with a lot of women who developed businesses throughout 2020. My fear was always I was scared to ship to certain places. So I made my whips locally and dropped them off to local people who wanted them. But I was so afraid to ship because of the melting. And unfortunately, I didn't realize that's the caveat of having a skincare business when it comes to whipping your own natural products. That's the caveat. And when I seen that other big businesses who do these natural home whips had the same situation, I said, well, wait a minute. They're like $1 million companies that go through the same thing that I'm so afraid of. So why should I be afraid? So July of 29th, in July, I started to form like my plan, write things down, manifest some things, really, really get in tune spiritually where I wanted to be. And the end of July of the end of July of 2020, excuse me, I decided to say, I'm going to put this online and I'm going to stop shipping. And
Yes.
so, lo and behold, I shipped, the product was received. It went off like a hitch. People started to love it. And here I am today, still in business. Thank you, Jesus.
Yes,
Thank
Lord.
you, Jesus. Still here.
Mm-hmm.
So my year anniversary will be in July, and I just praise God that I'm about to see this 1 year anniversary.
Right.
So yes,
And where are you based out of?
I'm based out of Rhode Island. I moved from Boston it's about 5, 6 years ago. I moved from Boston and I moved here because my mom lives here, and my mom's sick, and so just made sense for us to kind of
Right.
move a little bit closer. You know, I have an older son. I'm on. Yes, yes. That's my 18-year-old son. Sorry, guys.
You're
I'm a
fine.
mom for real, for real.
Right. Right. Right.
Um. So yeah. So my older son who just turned 20. He just turned 28. My older son. He had gotten into some trouble out in Boston, and like he almost lost his life. Let's put it that
Oh,
way. He almost lost his life. So because of that particular situation, I wanted to send him to Rhode Island where the bulk of my family is and have my brother take care of him because I wanted him to get out of harm's way. It was just kind of crazy in the city. And then I realized that his drama kind of trickled down to the younger sons. And I didn't want that neither. So I said, okay, well, mom's sick. I want my kids to be safe from harm. And this is the best move for me. I don't
mm-hmm.
like this state. I hate
Mm-hmm.
cities. I love, being on that go, 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 go. This
Right.
state, this state is a little bit laid back and relaxed for
Yeah.
me. So, but I'm here, and I
Mm-hmm.
praise God that I'm here, and we're
Right.
all well. My son's well. He's a straight A student, and he's a student athlete. So
That's good.
I thank God.
Yes.
So
So
tell us. Go ahead. Go ahead.
what sports does he play? So I can look out for him.
He plays football.
Okay.
Oh,
He plays football, and his season just ended. So yeah, he's
Oh,
been
okay.
playing football since he was 5. Well, it's like football.
we're gonna give Mama a little tip. Oh, it was 4 miles. It was 4.
It was fun.
It was 4.
Yeah.
So tell us about the whole motherhood. How have it been? Like, give us some ups and downs. Have you experienced being a mama? Because I know being a mama could be a tough titty. Sometimes we have to. I wouldn't even say make sacrifice. Just change up things just to make things good for us as kids. So tell us about the whole motherhood thing for you. Any ups and downs that you may have been through.
Well, motherhood has been it's been an amazing experience. I was married many years ago to my first two boys' father. And then I got a divorce. So I was raising two boys of my own by myself. So I've experienced that whole being a mom, dragging your kids on the bus, working two jobs. Like you said, you have to make changes, but you also have to make sacrifices too. So it was getting them up. Sometimes I used to have to bring them to work with me just so I can, because I wasn't on welfare, didn't get any food stamps and things like that. I worked two jobs. So, I mean, it's been, it's definitely made me who I am today. All that
Right.
struggle and sacrifice, even though in the midst of that struggle, we're beating ourselves up. Like, what are we
Yep.
doing wrong? But not now that when you get older and time goes on, you're able to see the bigger scheme and picture of things. And you're like, wow, I needed that sacrifice because if I didn't go through all that trauma and turmoil and, struggling, then who would I be today? I would not be this strong or, be the woman that I am today without all those type of things going on. So, I thank God for that particular situation that happens in my life because it kind of propelled me, it forced me to go to school, to graduate. It just having those two babies right there,
Right.
it just puts you into that go, 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 go mode as we all moms have. We're not gonna let our kids sit and suffer and not be hungry and not have a roof over their head.
Right.
We can go
Right.
hard to make sure that these babies are covered and they're protected.
That part. Yep.
So, with that being said, I did go through that, and then God had blessed me with somebody 20 years ago, who is now my husband, and I had two children with him, and like from my last marriage to where I am right now, it's been a 20-year vacation. It seems like a
Wow.
20-year vacation. He took my two boys in. He treated them like they was his own. I took his son in. I treated his son like he was my own. And then we had this big, huge family of 5 children, and so he has been such an amazing force in my life, amazing father. He is a hard worker, and he too had those same sentiments. Like, even when he was young and having his first son, that propelled him to really, really get the move on, go to school, finish, do good, work for my son, make sure my son doesn't need anything.
Anything. Right.
So when we both had those same sentiments, it was like, okay, so here we are. Here we are. And it's been such an amazing journey for the last 20 years just with my husband. He's crazy. But if y'all seen my live the other day when I did the giveaway, he was in the background just cutting up. But he's hilarious, and I couldn't ask God for a better person and a better soulmate than my husband that I have today. But being a mother has been such an amazing experience. I had these first three boys, and I always wanted to have this girl. Like, it's like, a girl so bad. I want a girl so bad. And I got pregnant with my husband that I have now for the first time. I thought it was a girl. I kept saying, this is a girl. I had her name out. I said, we're going to name her Marley after my husband Martin. This is what we're going to do. And for some odd reason, like my first ultrasound, I guess Isaiah he was being a little modest, and he didn't want to, show the world who he was right then and there. So the doctors was like, okay, well, you had your ultrasound. We cannot tell the sex of the child yet. So your next scheduled ultrasound will probably be when you're about 8 months. So I was like, oh God, it's over 8 months. Like, I can't get things ready. You wanna get the girl
Prepare.
stuff, the boy stuff.
Right.
I found myself buying like neutral things, and I was like,
Mm-hmm.
so when I finally found out that it was a boy, I was like, oh my God, like, what am I going to name him? What am I going to name him? And so I decided to name him Isaiah, which is biblical. He was like the messenger in the Bible. So I said, I'm going to name him Isaiah. And he definitely holds up to his name. He's such a pain in the butt, but he holds up to his name. And so I ended up getting pregnant again after the doctor had said, you know something, Nicole, I was overweight. I was like
Uh-huh.
400 pounds.
Wow.
And The doctor said, you know something, Nicole, you're not going to be able to have any more children. She's like, your body, you know, you have, um, you know, polycystic ovarian syndrome, which a lot of overweight women do have. So you're not going to have any more children. And this was 2015, October. It was October 2015. She says, Nicole, are you going to be okay with that? I said, well, I have 3 boys. I'm going to be okay. Right? So unbeknownst to her, I was already pregnant. But I didn't
What?
know. Yes, I was already pregnant. I didn't find out until Christmas. I went to go see my grandmother, who is no longer with.
Can't hear you. Can't.
There you
So
go.
in Christmas, December, I went to go see my grandma, and you know, she says, "When's the baby due?" I said, "Nana, what are you talking about? I'm just fat, Nana. Like, this is just embrace all this, right?" And she says, "You sure there's no baby?" I said, "No, Nana, there's no baby." Now, you know what, you know, PCOS, your period doesn't come. If there's inconsistencies with your period, which to me was
Right.
normal.
No,
So,
right.
when I left Rhode Island and I'm heading back home to Boston, I looked at my husband. I said, we should stop at the grocery, like CVS or one of the Walgreens or something. And he said, for what? I said, I think we should get a pregnancy test. And he said, oh, don't believe what your grandmother said. And I said, no, 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 I think we should do this.
Right.
And so we stopped and I got a pregnancy test. And I went home immediately. You know, some people say, wait until the morning. No, I went home immediately and I took it and I ended up being pregnant.
Yes.
So, which was such a joy, but and
Yes.
like my insides is like, oh my God, this is gonna be another boy.
Right.
It's gonna be another boy. And so I was working throughout my pregnancy at Mass General Hospital, and I was also having my care there too as well. So I can leave work, go to my doctor's appointments, and come back to work and finish
Right.
work.
Mhm.
So this particular day, well, her first time again, we did the ultrasound. She was being modest. She didn't want to tell the world exactly who she
What you
was.
was.
And then doctor said, okay, well, you're going to come back about 7-8 months. So I said, okay, fine. So I went back to I left my job and I was telling the people in my office, like, oh, what it is today, is it a girl? And everybody kept saying, oh boy, girl, they're yelling out. And I went into the ultrasound room, and when I tell you I cried to Jesus, I got on my hands and knees in that ultrasound room and I prayed and I prayed and you know, when I pray, you're supposed to be set on fire when you pray, you know?
Right.
So every time I pray, I do that. And I was crying in that ultrasound room, and I finally got up and I laid on the bed, and the woman came in and I was crying. She goes, are you okay? You in pain? And I said, oh no, I was just praying. And she said, what are you praying for? I said, my prayer is that I have a girl. And lo and behold, when I left, it ended up being a girl.
Yes.
And I was so elated. I walked back to my office. I'm in full tears. I'm in hysterics. And I open up the office door and I'm like, it's a girl. So, as crazy as it is, we already had her name picked out from when I was pregnant with Isaiah. So we just kind of took that and we just kind of ran with it. So like I said, motherhood has been such an amazing journey. It's had its ups and its downs, but I think those downs kind of
Makes you
make you
strong.
who you are today. Like those
Mm-hmm.
downs are needed. Adversities are needed when it comes to raising children, and you have those tough kids and
Right.
those not so tough kids. You know,
Right.
need that.
Right.
So
So it sounds like it's been a joy, and I know being a mother could be, you know, it could be a lot, and I know it's heavy. And you was looking for that girl, and it seemed like when you was talking about the whole situation about having a girl, it was so teary eyed for me because that's what
Yes.
you was really wanting, that girl. So what are some things that as a mother, um you was said, what was one thing in particular that you said that this is hard for me? Was it during the time when you was going to school and had the two boys and you was alone? What was that one moment you was like, I don't know if I'm gonna get through this as a mom. I have these two kids. I don't know what's gonna happen because mamas, we always think about the worst. So have you ever experienced that worst time?
I think my worst time, which stands out to me, is I was homeless with my two boys. And this was like definitely a, like a struggle and a fight for my life, right? So I was working hard, and at this time I wasn't making that much money. But I saved up every single penny of my monies. I
Mhm.
sacrificed. I had my mom's help, but sometimes my mother would give me like the tough love type of
Right.
thing.
Hmm.
You're gonna learn. You're gonna learn, and
Mm-hmm.
it was needed. But at the
Mm-hmm.
time, you're like, oh, why
I
she
want
acting
to hear
like this?
Right, right.
So I saved up my money, and like I wasn't going anywhere. It was nobody. It was everywhere but work. And if I couldn't find a babysitter, I was bringing my son with me. Okay, I was bringing him to the job with me, just so I can work on the weekends. I wasn't medical, so it was every other weekend, but I picked up every weekend. And so I was able to save up some money and find an apartment that I was able to afford. But I had no furniture whatsoever. But I did not care because I had the key to my apartment where
Mm-hmm.
me and my children would no longer, we was no longer homeless, right?
Right.
Exactly.
So with that, my mom gave us some blankets. She gave us some pillows. Um, she gave me a TV. I was able to get like a little VCR and stuff. And so we slept on pallets, like blankets, for a little bit. And then I was able to save. And I got them something for them first, and that was a bunk bed. And so I was able to get them off the blankets and put
Right.
them in a bunk bed. And I used to sleep on the side of their bunk beds on the floor just so I can be in the same room with them. And slowly and surely things started to pick up. But that particular moment when you're dealing with that adversity and that struggle, it's like an impending doom. You're feeling like, oh my God, like I just can't take this no more. I can't. What's going to happen next? Because you wake up every day and it's like, okay, I'm in this shelter with these two children. Like, you're holding your babies close. I was moving around from shelter to shelter, and it was scary. It was scary
That,
because some of the shelters, you don't know if they pedophiles, and I was keeping my babies close to me, and like,
and hurt somebody if they come close.
right, right. So at that particular, that I think that's one of the times that kind of really stands out to me the most is during
Gotcha.
that struggle. Yes.
So, have you ever thought you would be a mother? Growing up, I know we think of things when we growing up, getting older. Did you ever think you was gonna be this mom?
No. Nope. I thought I was gonna either go to the Navy. Spelman was my school dream, and that's where I wanted to be. I always wanted to go to Spelman. I always wanted to get into the medical field and be a nurse, but I never thought that I would have these children. And so with that, I had my son when I was fairly young. I ended up dropping out of school when I was summer. I was actually just before I was getting ready to enter the 12th grade. So I ended up dropping out of school. I had my son in April, and I ended up leaving school so I can put more focus on him.
Right.
And so that was a struggle too because I was staying with my mom, and like you have your mom in your ear, and I'm young myself, so I don't
No, no
still
better.
learning
Yeah.
how to be this mother, and be a better
Mhm.
person for him.
Yeah.
Right.
Things kind of was crazy, but I never thought in my wildest dreams that I would have this many children. Never, never, never. But I love every single one of them. So by any means, there are no mistakes.
No,
Mm-hmm.
not at all. So what have you been your biggest moment? Like this biggest moment as a mom, I know it's something in there with your kids. What would you say your biggest moment as a mom?
Uh, my biggest moment as a mother would probably be maybe finishing school and doing that for them. Um, maybe getting my health in check so I can live longer for them. Because, like I said, I was 400 pounds at one time. And so, sick. I couldn't even walk up a flight of stairs. I was diabetic, and my health was declining. And so I think that was like the one of the most biggest things that I was able to do was to not be complacent in that particular moment of my life and to take control because these babies need me. These
Yes.
children
Mm-hmm.
need me. So it's easy to be in that complacent skin, but you really have to be selfless and kind of not think about yourself and think about the
Mm-hmm.
people that's around you. So I think that's one of the biggest things that I've done for my children, and then make it through school because I went to school full time and I was working full time. So that was chaotic, getting through
I can only
school.
imagine.
Right. Becoming, then, God kind of changed things within myself. After I started losing weight and getting more healthier for myself and my family, um, it's like doors and just started to open for me. So I've always was like one for sneakers and flats. I was always the Timberland type of chick, your Nike Air Max type of chick, right?
Yes.
Right.
With a cute outfit, right? But then, God was working in my life in ways that I didn't even know at that time. So I can look at the bigger picture now because time has passed. And so you're able to step back and say, oh, wow, God really did that for me. So I
Yeah.
ended up, I became a model. Um,
Okay.
yeah, I was in different shows. I actually traveled. Um, I was in a play.
Wow.
I did my first very small 2.2 second skit in The Equalizer with Denzel. And like these doors and pathways started to kind of open up for
Mm-hmm.
me at that time. So it was just kind of God's confirmation to say that I'm not done with you yet.
Yes.
Right. Right.
Yes.
I'm not
Yeah.
finished with you yet. You have so much more to live for.
Right.
You have anything
That,
fabulous co-host?
I'm just amazed. Like I'm just sitting here soaking it all in because this. I mean, she's beautiful and she's talented, girl.
You said
Okay,
all in one.
she out here doing it. Okay, I'm trying to be like her when I grow up.
And that's why I say our moms are out here. That's exactly
Yes, she
why I say
is
our
killing
moms
the
are out here
game.
is killing the game. It
Yes,
doesn't
she is
matter if
doing
you
that.
have kids. We still have goals as
Yes,
mamas. We still have
yes,
to do things for our kids just like we expect our kids to do things for us. So,
right.
what before we leave, we have mamas that's sitting out looking, watching the shows and stuff. What one advice would you give them as a mom?
So when you think you have kids, that kind of just stops your plans, and it doesn't. So I
Right.
don't care if you have 5 kids, you can still do it.
Yes.
Still do it. Allow to be shaped and formed with babies as they come, you know. But by all means, don't stop. If you have a vision, bring it to life. Write it
Yes.
down. Pray on it. Plead the blood of Jesus over your life and your children, and you will be okay. Things will start to really come to be. Write it down. You think it, right? You see it, think it, and it
Mm-hmm.
comes. So, that would be like my most takeaway because people say, oh, I have these kids, they get complacent, they don't want to, everything is like, I can't do nothing for myself because I have these children.
Right.
No, it can
Right.
be done. You can
It
go
can.
back through
Facts.
school.
It can. You just got to put some effort to it.
Yeah, if you don't have a support system, there's places that actually will help support you. as
Yep.
far as childcare, because I know how it was with childcare. I told you I had to bring my son to school to work with me. So childcare was like far and few between. There were days when my mother didn't even want to watch my children. There are
Mm-hmm.
places that actually help you. You know,
Mm-hmm.
do your research, because you know some of
Right.
these places is crazy. You know,
Right.
Especially
Girl.
nowadays.
you know, see if your neighbor, you know, do like a barter with your neighbor. Say, hey, you know, if you watch my son this day, I'll
Mm-hmm.
watch your kids this day, you know?
Yep.
And sometimes you pull in your friends or, you know, people at your church. People at your
Yes.
church. Get yourself involved into a church, because I know Sister Mary, she gonna definitely help you out if she sees that you're struggling, especially if
And
you're trying
Sister
to do
Betty.
something right.
Yep.
Right. Especially if you're trying to do something right with yourself,
Right.
somebody is going to help you. And if that
Yep.
person doesn't, don't stop asking. Ask somebody
Right.
else. Ask somebody
Yep.
else. Ask somebody else.
Mhm.
It can be done. It
Yes.
can be done. And it will be done.
Yep. That part. Amen.
Amen to that
That was
one.
an amen.
And it's
Yes.
okay. It's okay to ask for help. It's really
Yes.
okay.
It is.
It's self love because we need help
Yes.
sometimes. You know.
Yes.
So before we leave, let everybody know where they can find you at on Instagram if they want to get some facial products.
So I'm on Instagram at Wonderwhipps LLC, and that's WONDR, and that's Wonderwhipps spelled with two P's, and it's LLC at Instagram. And then my website is www.wonderwhipps.com. If anybody is interested in skincare products, I make these from home. I'm in my kitchen, and I just never thought it would be here. And I just praise God. I do, with my whole heart. I praise God that I'm even still here. So, yes, happy
And we are
Monday.
glad to have you, honey.
We
This
are
was
so
so
happy.
refreshing.
Yeah,
This is what we needed. This is the well, I started here and here I am now. Like you see the growth, which is
Yes, definitely.
amazing.
she
I
Yes.
love
modeling out with her boys and her
it.
girls.
Right. I need to just kidding because I'm shy. So yeah, that was good.
So we want to thank you for coming through
Yes.
on Wind Down Fridays. Will give us just a hug, you know, telling us, sharing your story with us and all our viewers out there that's watching the show, how it was as a mom, because I know it can only be a task at times. My mama had me, and I was the sickest child. I started breathing on my mama, so it was days that she just had to do what she had to do, and it was days that she couldn't move because I was always sick in the hospital. So I know it's times that y'all go through so much, but I just want to say thank you for everything that y'all do for us, because y'all do so much for us kids and we don't realize it until we older. You know,
Right.
yeah,
Yes,
my
that's
Mm-hmm.
it.
mama did
That's it.
Yep.
sacrifice this for me, you know, so I
Mm-hmm.
just want to say thanks from not giving up. The keep
Yes.
on, even when the
Yes.
tough times get tough, because at that moment being homeless, you could have easily said, I'm done.
Yep. I've had enough. And
Right.
that's
There
it.
was I've had attempts of suicide on my life when things got crazy. But God.
Y'all
Mm-hmm.
But
kept
God.
you.
That's it. But
So
God. So
Mm-hmm.
I want
Mm-hmm.
to say thanks so much. You our
Yes.
super mom, our
Yes.
wonder mom, everything, we just want to say thanks from the bottom of our heart for being that great mom that you are to
Yes.
your kids. So before we leave, you have anything
thank you so much.
fabulous
Thank
for
you, Kim. Thank you,
Kim?
Erica, for having me. I
Oh,
appreciate you.
you're so welcome. We are so glad. I'm so glad that she had you on here. Like this is refreshing. Like this is something that we needed. It wasn't, you just was being you and it was so genuine and beautiful. Like I thank you for that because, sometimes, you wake up, you're like, oh, Lord, here we go. We don't know how this is going to be. And, just quickly, it was just like, oh, okay, we're
Yeah,
calm, we're cool.
my post this morning was be genuine, which is two simple words. Be genuine and make sure
Mm-hmm.
that everything that you do is followed with love and good intentions. Because love is the highest frequency of energy that anybody can
Yes,
kind of be
yes,
playing on is love. And love
right,
can be felt even from a distance. So if you
yes,
didn't think that it was love, Kim yourself, you wouldn't be able to feel it, and Erica, you wouldn't be able to feel it. Y'all be at the end of the call, y'all be like, y'all didn't feel that. That's because love vibrates on such a high frequency. So that was
Right.
my post for today is be genuine.
That's
So I
all.
appreciate you.
And tell us about sisterhood. What you think about sisterhood? What's your take on sisterhood?
Sisterhood. So sisterhood to me is my best friend of almost 38 years. That's sisterhood to me. I never had
Mm-hmm.
a sister. It's me and my brothers. My
Okay.
father had children outside my mom, and my mom only had two kids. This is me and my brother. And I always wanted to have a sister. And so I met her when she was in the second grade. I always was shy and very like kind of like introvert to myself. And so I had like this big Michael Jackson pin back in the day, like because I'm older. I had a big Michael Jackson pin. I was sporting Michael Jackson, thought I was the ish, right? And one of the girls she bullied me and she had took it from me and I started
Oh,
crying. And so I see this young little whippersnapper. God gave me a spitfire that day. And she cussed this bully out, and the bully was bigger than her. She cussed this bully out so bad that the bully ended up giving me back my pen. And we are
oh.
still friends to this very day. That is my ace. When
Yes.
we didn't have kids, we didn't even have our cycle, and we were best friends. And I
Yes.
appreciate her. And that's what sisterhood is to me. It's like it's a connection to me. Even
Yes.
my sisters that Flow Life, and Black Up Apparel, those we call each other distant sisters
Right.
because we have like such an amazing connection.
Ashley is so sweet. I love Ashley.
That's my sister.
Yeah,
She's like, I swear, she's like my sister in a different life.
it's
Like,
right.
Mm-hmm.
She is like she
Mm-hmm.
always have that word to tell you right down that moment.
Yeah.
I love
yes,
Ashley, and I love that she with her little
I call
flower
them
moment.
I call them my distant sisters, and that's because we was able to form a connection and a bond
Mm-hmm.
with each other.
Mm-hmm.
Something else that the COVID 2020 had did
Has
to
brought. Mm-hmm.
people was strangers.
Yes.
You ladies like
Yes.
reaching out to other women. That was something that was so foreign to me when I moved when I came to my business on Instagram. I said, "Oh my God!" Like I never thought that I would have these strange women love, support me, big me up, buy, or
Mm-hmm.
they
Mm-hmm.
didn't buy. They shared. They
Mm-hmm.
shared. So that was definitely something for me, and that's just like what genuine women should be doing is creating a bond with each other, supporting one another, and genuine.
Yes, being
Yes.
genuine
Yep.
about it.
That's it. Right
So
there. That's it.
and today I'm wearing my beads that say I am enough with my hematite. So I want y'all to go over to Be the Purpose. And when you watch this show and you go over to Be the Purpose, I have a little code, which is sisterhood. So go over and you get a 10% discount on anything. And just let them know I sent you. And that's Kim,
Okay.
she the owner of Be the Purpose. So
Okay.
so just know that, ladies,
Okay.
just know that we are enough. We do
Yes.
matter. So we're gonna
Mm-hmm.
close out on that note.
Yes.
Just want to say thanks to everybody from tuning in to Wind Down Fridays. Will give us a hug. I'm your girl, Author Erica. I have my fabulous co-host Author Kim, with me, and I have my super mom Nicole with me. That's out here
Yes.
killing the game as a mama.
Yes.
So
Yes.
thank y'all for tuning in. Know that y'all not alone. We are here with you. We're gonna get through these ups and downs together. And in the end, we all gonna have a story to tell. So I love you. We all love you. Peace.
Thank you.
Bye.